We're on, and this is Civil Discourse Now. I'm Mark Smalls. It's December 2nd, 2024. Cassie Jackson is here. Cassie, how are you?
Doing great. Thanks for having me on again. My favorite show.
Oh, thank you very much. It's really kind of a rousing, rocking show. We are looking at political developments. I must say, I watched a really bad movie this weekend. It is Ed Wood-esque. I mean, was really bad. So if you're wanting to watch a really bad movie, it is on Tubi and it is free LSD. It was really bad. I'm sorry. It was terrible, but so terrible. You just got to keep watching it to see if it's going to get better. Never does. Okay. I just blogged this morning, and here's what's been happening in the last few days. Over the course of 4 years, of course, with Trump's people trying to litigate that the 2020 election was hacked or rigged or stolen, 60 cases all kind of were thrown out or dismissed or something to demonstrate that we had really fair and clean elections. And then we have 2024. And these elections are showing inconsistencies in voting patterns. Now, look, there has been a whole lot of time available to try and investigate those things. Also, Trump's people in a lot of states are taking over as election officials, which is scary. So what people don't realize, and it's what I blogged about this morning, is that, you can't talk about 2024 since he couldn't do anything about 2020. So Trump gets sworn in, let's say. Yeah, then he can turn around as dictator and say, well, I was screwed back then, stolen, so that's out. And any officials who were elected in the 2020 election cycle, presumably that he didn't like, would be pulled off of any body in which they're a member. That would also necessarily mean that the only justice that President Biden was able to nominate to the court would be off the court because it was an illegitimate presidency. So I don't really appreciate this whole thing that the whatever you want to call them, it used to be mainstream media, it's kind of going bankrupt media, whatever you want to call them. They're like, let's consider both sides. But on this, there aren't both sides.
Yeah, and he's gonna backdate things and do things, right? That's what you're saying.
That's the point, is that the 2016 election was hacked. He shouldn't have been elected. It was stolen. Right. So if he takes office, he's going to be a dictator. And that is not good for probably 97.6% of the population of the United States and potentially the world, because we could get blown up. I mean, Cassie, everything was like, it never was settled on 2020 because he wouldn't let it be.
Right.
And for the last year, Trump's been showing signs of senility. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess I have go ahead. I want to let you finish, but I have a question.
Tell me what your impressions are as a mental health professional.
Well, my question that I just thought of as you're saying this is like, sorry if this is ignorant, but wouldn't he technically be able to go back and reverse, for example, pardons, right? Like, I'm just going to use Hunter Biden as an example right now. He's been pardoned by his dad. People are upset about it. But what's to say that when Trump becomes a dictator, that these pardons, right, no longer...
It would be out. We have no longer the rule of law.
But what... okay. I mean, that's so all of it. I mean, you could basically make the argument that he could simply say, now the rule is that you can't, that's illegal to pardon. And then now we're back in the same situation. I mean,
it's like this. There's a photograph of retired General Michael Flynn, and who's the dumb bastard that's has Nixon as a tattoo on his back. They're holding up their pardons, I'm sorry. I take things a little more seriously. Flynn shouldn't be able to collect a pension when he was part of a foreign operation to hack our elections. And he had to resign as national security director because of that at like 2017, right after Trump was inaugurated. So I'm a little bit upset that these people are in. What I said in the blog this morning is we have an emergency right now. We have an emergency of Trump taking office and threatening and promising even before he's in office to be a dictator.
Right.
And
What about,
that,
go ahead.
and he's disqualified. He's disqualified. He took part in an insurrection on January 6, 2021. He is unqualified to hold
Right.
that office. So let me go to
Right.
the other side just a second. I want to make sure I'm clear about this. All the people who are like mega GOP, they're going like, we own the libs. No, you don't. You lie to get what you want. Say, well, we wouldn't do that if we were in office. Then you flip around and do it. So here's what we should be doing right now. President Biden has emergency powers. He can look at this situation. You've got Trump promising to impose a dictatorship, and people are scared as hell in other countries because, like I say, Ukraine right now, you got Putin on the other side really licking his chops to blow them away and take their country.
Right.
And also, by the way, we spent all these hundreds of billions of dollars on defense weaponry. Well, maybe Trump will just give it over to Putin to say, you're my pal. So
Right.
cut the
Or
crap.
Israel.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's all
of it. You're right. There's no, yeah.
When you're looking at people say, well, you can't contest the election, no, because we're not going to do it both sides. No, it's not both sides. I'm not represented by the Democratic Party.
Right.
That's they are not my people. And when you've got somebody going like, we want to have like an understanding where we meet in the middle. So we're going to start
That's
out
all
and meet in the
fear.
middle.
That's it's
Yeah,
just
and that means
so
like if you're in football, it's like, well, they're going to let us start in the middle. Great, we just made up half the football field.
I think like that's where you and I fall sometimes in activism too, is like we understand those concepts, but we're also have to be outliers in the sense that like that's not going to work. Like it's not going to work. And how are we going to get people to this understanding of, it is a facade if you think anyone's coming to the middle anymore. Like you know what I mean? Like where are we going to?
Also, consider this. It's not just those different things. If he wants to maintain quasi-legality, he can pack the court now. All those different things that Republicans have been, it's the last 4 years, Democrats have gone like, well, if we get a majority, what we can do is increase the number of justices on the court. Congratulations. You just gave the people who have Project 2025 an idea of what else that they can do. Because that was, you've lost that.
And I wanted to mention this because I remember my point. What I think, well, I speculate because Elon Musk has this new little office or whatever that he's taking, which, we don't have, what is that office? We don't have an idea of what that is. My feeling is that office is going to be specifically for what you're talking about. And because, Elon has, right? I mean, it's, they're not only can they add more, not only can they add more to the court, right? But they can also kind of rewrite, I think, when you're adding offices where we don't even know what it means, what the qualifications are. I mean, he can kind of make an office for whatever he wants, it sounds like. Right. And so, when you have something new like that, what are the parameters of that? Who's deciding what the parameters of that role are? What's right? And it's
and it goes back to the whole idea of like when they go, we own the libs, and they also say, well, Project 2025 is not something we know anything about, and we wouldn't ever, all this other stuff. Project 2025 is very much what they're putting in effect right now. Number one. Number two, if Trump pardoned, look at the people Trump did pardon.
Right.
And they had to really come up with stuff to try to charges against Hunter Biden. So please spare me. When you've got Roger Stone is the other one with the pardon, showing it with Flynn. I'm sorry, don't lecture to me about the morality or lack of morality of granting pardons. That's just a bunch of crap.
And it's been happening forever because Democrats want to throw facts into a situation where people are not interested in the facts. Like they're not. We can fact F someone to death, right? But it doesn't matter if you are a person that you know what where I'm going with.
I do. And when you've got somebody who will disavow reality, disavow facts, as a local minister turned politician here has done. Anyways, there's a
Well,
lot.
let me say this before I forget it too.
Sure.
Micah and Trump, right? What I think, and it's not like when I say Micah, it's like who he's being led by. Let's be real. He has no original thought in his brain. But they oh man, I lost it. No, so
Hillsdale.
Beckwith and what?
Heritage Foundation in Hillsdale.
Yeah, they are being, what was I going to say? Keep talking, Mark. It's going to come to me, and I really felt like it was important.
You just go down a list of anything that's bad that Trump can do. Once he's in that office, yeah, he will not do anything but what he wants to do, because then he'll be a dictator. And the thing is, mega people are just so proud of when something is shoved down other people's throats.
F your feelings. Yay.
But they insist that we follow rules and do everything by the book. And the example is when you look at Justice Gorsuch, McConnell held up that nomination for a year because the next president should be the one able to name him. Okay, then so Ruth Bader Ginsburg dies, and real fast they jammed an idiot who committed perjury in her judicial confirmation hearings. I'm sorry, Comey. Well, I'm sorry,
Comey Barrett, Amy Comey Barrett.
Spacing on names right now, but Barrett's on the bench. She should be. She has no business being on a bench.
She's such an awful, awful woman. I thought of my point again. Roger Stone, you brought him up, who's a dark psychologist, he's a sociopath. He's been responsible for Trump for like 20 years, trying to get him into the presidency. But the thing that we need to remember, and this is where I was saying Trump and Beckwith, but it's not really Beckwith, but these people behind them, their goal, and the reason they don't care about facts is because if they throw out enough misinformation, the goal is that people don't trust anything anymore. It's not just like this is right. It's so that the more lies people tell, even if they're debunked, right, it puts people psychologically in a place of like, well, what is the truth now? Well, how can we trust this? Well, and that's the point. They want people to question reality, right? They want people to not be able to even know if they can trust truths and facts because there's been so much lying or whatever. Does that make sense?
Up in the air. But the whole, also, as long as Trump gets into office, if they've held it off that long and he's in, they're okay, because then they don't have to pay attention to anybody, and then we will be in a world of hurts. Anyways, Cassie Jackson, thank you today. This has been Civil Discourse Now. Peace.
Good to see you. Bye.